Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We're finally doing another lockdown live, and as I mentioned previously, that during the first stage 5, the full-on lockdown we had, I was trying to do one every single day, and I basically did. But now that we are a little bit lower in the phases, I'm going to try and do as many as I can, but not on such a tight schedule. It just gets very, very hectic. Right, so today I've got a good... Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We finally... Right, So today I've got a good friend of mine, Cecilia Fourie. Cecilia is a great makeup artist in Cape Town, and we've worked together on weddings and some style shoots and stuff. And yeah, we are just going to chat about whatever comes up. She's an awesome chick, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And as always, feel free to ask questions. I've got the comment section open here on the side. And yeah, all right, let's get Cecilia to come on. Check everything silent. It doesn't bother us. Okay, good to go.
Hallo.
Hoe gaan dit?
Goed, dankie.
Lekker om jou vinnig weer te sien.
Net so vinnig weer.
Right. So you say you're ready to do this in English?
English, let's gooi die English.
Try our best as long now.
You must just excuse of a dog box because I've got dogs as well, but they're sleeping at the moment.
That's fine. That's why I'm doing this at this time of the afternoon, because my kids are sleeping and they don't come busting in here. And because they're not going to school, they don't think they need to wear clothes as well. So they're walking around.
So they're in pajamas all day.
No, they're walking around in their panties.
But it's cold.
That bad, but yeah, if they could choose not to wear anything apart from the underwear, they are happy.
You've got 2 daughters now, eh?
3.
3.
Yep.
You're the only man in the house.
Yeah, well, it's we'll figure that out when they all hit their teenage years, but so far it's still okay.
Oh, okay. Shame.
How have you been?
I've been good under circumstances. Been busy. It's tax season almost, so busy getting my books up to date.
Yeah.
And enjoyed having my husband here for 4 weeks because my husband works in Joburg and he went back 2 weeks ago. So yes, I'm here solo. Doing this solo at the moment, but it gives me time to work on projects and finish with admin things and get everything updated. And I'm busy. Yeah, I've got a few projects that I'm working on at the moment, so I'm keeping busy.
So, but why is he working in Joburg and you in Cape Town? Why don't you just move to Joburg?
Oh God, no. No, the thing is, I've built my business here in Cape Town, and to actually move it over to Joburg is going to take some time building up a new client base in Joburg, especially in my wedding bridal industry, because I don't know of a lot of suppliers there. And 90% of my leads at the moment are referral based. And I've got my academy here as well, so I teach, so I have to physically be in Cape Town, but he travels when he can travel. He travels twice a month down to come and see me, so it's not too bad at the moment, but we make it work.
Okay. Yeah, doing that long distance kind of thing is always, it's not easy. And yeah, it's not an easy.
There's always a positive about it is when I go and visit, you meet new people and you see new cultures, and it's quite different because I've never been to Joburg before this. And what's also nice is I started taking weddings up in Johannesburg and Pretoria, which is quite fun because it's so much fun working with new suppliers. And the trend in Johannesburg and Pretoria is far different from what it is wedding industry based in Cape Town. I don't know why, but it is. And it's just to see new locations, because, working in Cape Town, you end up sort of working on the same location 90% of the times, but it's quite fun to go and see, you drive in those mountains or in Muldersdrift and it looks ugly and it's dry and stuff, and then you get on to the venue and it's this absolute gorgeous place. So that's quite fun for me to actually work in Johannesburg as well.
Yeah, they don't call that part the Golden Mile for nothing.
No, listen, I think Joburg is also beautiful, but it's a different beautiful. I mean, we're so used to the ocean and the wineries and stuff like that, where I kind of like and enjoy the city vibe of it all and the fast pace in Joburg, where Cape Town is a bit slower for me. But yeah, there's positives and negatives, but also, I love the food in Johannesburg because, I mean, their restaurants are, and not that I say Cape Town doesn't have good food, but I think because that's the only thing they can do in Joburg is go out and eat something. They've got really, really good restaurants there as well.
Yeah, well, all that kind of stuff has changed now a little bit, so it's a little bit different now. But I'm pretty sure your makeup academy and everything will do very well up in Joburg as well. So I'm pretty sure you have.
Yes, I am looking into expanding. Expansion takes some time because I'm very precise when it comes to my business. I want to do it like 120% or nothing at all. So for me, the biggest thing at the moment why I haven't done so before is finding a space for me to train the girls from. Their conference centers and stuff is quite large, and I work with small groups. So I am busy collaborating with artists there to maybe see if we can't combine training and stuff like that. And at the moment, I'm busy with my online courses, just putting all of that together as well, because I can't just put my manual up online and say, there you go, train yourself. So it's videos and it's content that you have to create. So expansion takes time, but I think the situation that we find with ourselves in actually pushed us a little bit to think outside the box, out of our comfort zones, just to sort of push you into things you always wanted to do but never had the time to do because you're so busy just assisting with or servicing your clients. And now we actually have the time. You don't have an excuse. So I'm actually glad I have this time to spend on the projects that I always wanted to actually go ahead and do.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions for you about that kind of stuff, but just where did you start? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? How did you get to doing?
So, believe it or not, I'm very Afrikaans. I was born in Appington.
Okay.
I was raised in Kimberley until my parents moved to Cape Town when I went to high school. So I actually went to school in Stellenbosch in Bloemhof.
Okay.
So I went to school there, and I started working, my parents had their own business where I actually worked and helped. And I actually started working from a young age onwards. So I'm used to quite working for myself. And that was a big struggle for me in school to find something that I actually wanted to do. So after school, didn't still know what I wanted to do. So I went to New York for 4 years. I actually au paired and I took care of children. Hence, I'm a little bit hesitant of getting children. But and then I got back and I actually started working for Biosculpture. It's a gel product that they distribute. And one of my brother's friends walked in as a client, and I've noticed it and I chatted to her. She's actually my best friend at the moment, Ida Webster. And she actually said to me, listen, and I'm like, what do you do? And she's like, I do hair and makeup for weddings and I'm a mobile hairdresser. And I'm like, and my first question to her was, do you make money? Is that all you do? She says, yes. And 3 months after that, she said, listen, Cecilia, I've got a huge wedding. Don't you want to come and assist me? So she gave me a doll head to practice on. I practiced on for 4 months. And after that, I just got hooked into doing weddings. And I did my courses. And I freelanced for a year. I freelanced for a year assisting other artists in the industry, just to get experience. And then I started my own business. And I actually went into editorial first, where I started working on Espresso and Top Billing. And I did the morning show. So I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have to be there 4 o'clock. Starting of the show 6 o'clock in the morning. So I did editorial for 2 years, and then I just fully went for it on weddings because I got so busy with my wedding side of the business. And then 5 years ago, I actually opened my own academy because I felt like there was a big gap in the market for good education within my field. And I actually wanted to train girls the way I actually wanted to be trained, because the skills and the techniques are so so I just wanted to do that. And 5 years later, I've got my own school training girls now.
Okay. And a question I normally ask other photographers, makeup artists, whoever that go into setting up like schools or trainings or stuff like that, don't they take away from your normal business, or is that your normal business now? So in normal business, I mean like your weddings and other type of shoots, don't they because obviously they will become your competition because some of them are really great and I've met them.
So my students.
Yes.
Okay. No. I don't really see my fellow artists as competition. In a sense they are, but they're not, because I just feel like every single professional person out there has something else to offer. And I've been in the trade a little while longer than them. So I think it will take them, I mean, let's say they will probably be competition for me within 5 years, for instance.
You don't go further.
But we more community in the makeup field, where we actually help one another. So for instance, I can't assist a bride. I actually refer my fellow artists, and actually the students have become quite like a positive thing for me, especially because I take them on my weddings as assistants for them to gain experience. And also what I've started doing last year is to subcontract them on weddings. So what I do is I put a team on the wedding. It's not me doing the job itself, but to a lower rate, but a professional that already have done a client or a bride, and they get the lead through me, and I just take a percentage from the job. So subcontracting. But I find that when I teach, I saw, I give the same kit to every student, and everybody works differently out of the kit, because you can teach them. It's always like this saying in Afrikaans, I say you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. So I must tell you, in the last 5 years, I've trained over 100 girls, and I can honestly say I've got a minimum of 20, if not less, active trading girls in the industry. So I don't think a lot of the time, especially in makeup artistry, I think a lot of people have this thing, it's easy and it's quick and it's, and then they do the course and then they see it's not so easy. So not a lot of them end up going to proceed in having to do it as a career, because they can't handle the admin side of the job as well. So no, I don't really see them as a competition.
It's the same with the photographers as well. And what I've seen now since this whole COVID-19 thing is that most of the photographers have not figured out another way to make money from their business. You've created 3 lines of income basically now, was where you do weddings and shoots. You've got the school, and then you've got the where you subcontract them out. So from your...
I've started a 4th one now as well.
Okay.
But I'm not going to really share it, because I want to have the launch ready for it. But I've got something in the back burner that I've been working on for 2 years now, a project of mine. So I'm a businesswoman first, then a makeup artist, and I want to expand, and I want to, I love what I do, but in my trade, it's not the only thing you can do, because you won't survive financially. So you have to have like a second arm to your business, or third arm to your business, especially with makeup artistry. And that's what I always say to my girls as well, is if you decide to do just makeup artistry, you're going to have to work twice as hard as anybody else there to actually gain a relevant good salary out of just makeup artistry. That's why a lot of the girls do either lashes or nails, or they do beauty or stuff like that as well, or hairdressing, just because the wedding industry, or the weddings, they rotate every year, and every year is different. You can't say, okay, this year I've done 100 brides and think you're going to do 100 next year, especially this year. We started off pretty good and thought it was going to be pretty good, and I think not so good anymore. So you never know, so you have to have other sources of income as well.
But it's and the thing with makeup artists and hairdressers and nail salons and all these beauty salons is that, like you said, they were stuck in, and they were so busy with the clients that they never thought about doing something else. So now this old nonsense came in and took everything away, and you guys can only start up working at level 1 again, basically when
Yes.
weddings and all these things start opening, which is bullshit in any way, but because there's ways that you can be more hygienic than anybody else at a wedding, for instance. But so, and the same with the photographers. I see these posts in the Facebook groups that everybody's asking, when can they start shooting again? But the fact is, they're not going to be able to start shooting again unless they start figuring out now during this whole time how they're going to make other money from their art or their passion or whatever that they're busy doing, and doing it. Everybody say they're going to do it, but they're not.
I've seen a lot of photographers, because I know I don't know all the courses in photography, but I know most of the photography courses, when you do a course, you do a graphic designing course. So I know a lot of photographers are tapping into the graphic designing side of things as well. And I think that is also quite a nice thing for photographers, or skill to have, is graphic designing at the moment, because that's very time consuming, but it's also something you don't necessarily need a premise or a location to do it within. And for me, for instance, that's something I wish I could know how to do or have the time in studying, because I use a graphic designer on a daily basis, almost, because I like my things that I put out there to look professional, whether it's an invoice or a Facebook cover or whatever the case may be, a Facebook ad even. I always have it designed by somebody.
But there's ways and means around that, and that's what I want to say about the creating an income, is that you can get those kind of things from, you can buy templates that you can use, but take graphic designers, they can create templates that people keep on buying, so to create a separate income. And the same with and videographers, and everybody's doing workshops now, which nobody can afford because nobody's got money, and they're all selling their presets and editing stuff, which also nobody can buy because they haven't got money. So all of a sudden they're trying to make money off other photographers that don't have an income, and that's not the way to do it.
No, I just think you have to sort of a little bit think outside of the box in terms of who will be your target or your market at the moment. And at this moment, the market for graphic designers is online shops and online platforms and people wanting to go online, or business. For instance, me, I'm busy with my online courses at the moment. So I'm having somebody actually design the modules and paperwork, if I can say it like that, for me. But yeah, it's just, you have to sort of start thinking out of the box, out of your comfort zone. And I know, for instance, with me as well, you talked about the workshops. A lot of the girls are doing one-on-one workshops, but it is quite tough because nobody, like you said, nobody has money. And I mean, a makeup workshop for me at least is a 3-hour duration. I can't teach somebody to do their own makeup in an hour. It's impossible because there's so much to teach. And you don't want to go and ask an arm and a leg for it, because people don't have the money, then they won't pay you. So now you're cutting your prices almost more than half just to get something in, but at least you're getting something in. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about it at the moment, but it's just finding the right way.
Yeah, and in your case is that you've got a physical product that needs to be replenished if it's finished. Your makeup doesn't, it's not a never-ending little pot of makeup. It gets finished.
And it's a very expensive one.
But now you can't go buy new ones now, or can you now?
I think we can, but at the moment, the problem is, for instance, I know a lot of the artists, they use products like MAC, Bobbi Brown, all those professional products, and Edgar's hasn't opened yet.
Yeah,
and
I don't think
Edgar's brands are sold within Edgar's. So there's not a lot of brands out there that have standalone stores for us to purchase in. So we're going to end up, if we have to replace it and those stores don't open, either by online or by a drugstore brand, which I don't prefer to use because I just like high quality products.
Yeah, but yet some of those ones I've heard some good stuff about some of the drug.
No, definitely. I'm not dissing any drugstore brand, but on my clients paying for service, I feel like they're paying for good quality and a good service. So I want to actually produce them with high-end quality, which I find, especially in the makeup field, I always say to them, with your skin and with makeup, I'm just thinking of the English phrase for it, but if you cheap buy is, or if you buy cheap, you're gonna, or the less quality product is cheap buy, but you're gonna buy it again because you're gonna not be satisfied with the end result you're getting out of it towards, say for instance, a more expensive product. Because there's a reason why something is expensive in the beauty industry. There's a lot of testing, a lot of work went into developing it. It's not just China manufactured, you know. So yeah, I just say, just think twice what you put on your face, because you just have one.
Yeah. And have you seen any trends in men's makeup? Because I believe there's the thing for men's makeup overseas is picking up quite big.
Yes and no. I must say we've been getting, or I've been getting, a lot of requests for men makeup, especially in Cape Town, because we have a big gay community as well. And sometimes we get grooms that, for instance, you know, they went on Lion's Head climbing mountain, burnt red, have to get makeup done for the photos. Or I actually had an Irish groom once where I had to do his makeup. All his facial features were white. His facial, his lashes, his brows, everything was white, and he was pale. So I actually had to bring that facial features out with makeup so he doesn't look one-dimensional on a photograph. So yes, I mean, we don't do a lot of makeup on men unless it's a gay guy or somebody that actually enjoys having a full on face makeup, which we've also done. Then we charge full face, but normally with grooms we conceal and we something with the brows, a lip ice on the lips, and just some powder just to take the shine away.
Okay. But I believe there's quite a few companies starting up in the States that specifically do makeup for men. So stuff that will maybe last longer, or that's tougher. I don't know. I've got no idea.
I haven't looked into it, so it's quite a new subject for me. So I'm quite curious to go and look at some trends there. But I wouldn't take it off the board, because there's so many men actually, and really, really good men, that do makeup these days. And they use themselves as canvases to promote their skills and talents. So I am definitely sure that if somebody's developing makeup for men, good for you, because you're going to hit a target that a lot of men will definitely purchase. Especially men are starting to more look after themselves or groom aspects of themselves. That's why I feel like that's so good if a skincare range launches a main side of it. And the entrepreneurs now, especially I saw a lot of entrepreneurs in South Africa with the beard ranges, the beard oils and the beard stuff. So a lot of grooming aspects of the men, I think, is in expansion at the moment.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff like beard oils you can make for like cheap if you buy the stuff at Discount and just mix it together. When I had my beard, I used to make my own stuff. I didn't buy any of that. And it's so easy to make.
Yeah, for how long did you have your beard?
6 years.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no. But I met you without it, and then
Where did
we've done the beard thing, and then yes, now you're without it again.
which wedding or where did we meet the first time?
Oh, I can't remember.
It was a wedding, I think.
It was a wedding, but I can't remember which.
It wasn't that
Not
wedding.
on top of my head now.
It wasn't that one we did in Eiserfontein. No, we knew each other then already.
Yes. I'm not sure. But I actually I started following you or started liking your work way back then. You did a shoot with Sunmary in the forest.
Yes. Yes.
And that got me hooked onto your work, that shoot. And you know what I must say to you? I actually miss the old way of doing things in the wedding industry. For instance, creating concepts, creating style shoots, wedding blogs. I miss a wedding blog. I mean, I know there is still some wedding blogs, but they're not so active like actually putting your work on social media, you know, because that sort of was fun for me. And the style shoots for me were such a nice way to connect with other suppliers. And I feel like because that we don't do that as much anymore, you come on a job and you don't know anybody sometimes. And it's like, hello, and there you go. Where in the olden days, when you've sort of networked and we had network events and, you know, social events where we actually could meet the face behind the camera or behind the name. Those networking days for me was a ton of fun. And I must say, I built up really, really good relationships through it. But I felt like it died down. And I think it might come back up with this situation where, you know, we're in lockdown and stuff. So I think wedding blogs will definitely, to support small businesses, will get a platform again.
Well, the big problem these days with blogs is that, like me, I've removed my blog from my website. It's still there in the background and it does this SEO service and all that kind of stuff. But the people don't want to read. They don't want to sit in front of the computer for half an hour, and they'll sit in front of the computer and watch a video for half an hour. That they will do. But they don't want to read anymore. And I think because back then, that was 2013, we did that shoot in the forest. Back then, yes, cell phones was there, but now everybody's sitting with the cell phone in their hands, and it's not, they don't consume the content of computer screens anymore, or magazines for that matter, because they don't want to buy magazines. So it's difficult, but the whole style shoot was, I think it was back then, 2013, 14, 15, I think for those 2 years, I think every possible style shoot that could have been done was done. Everybody did everything.
Oh, yes.
That
was done.
I've still got something in my mind that I want to do. If you can, it can swing both ways. You can have it just as a fashion type shoot, or you can bring in something wedding, and I think it will fit in perfectly with this. But it will cost a lot of money to set up in the first place, or if you can get people that will be prepared to partner up, it could be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, listen, I've also have ideas and stuff, but sometimes it's so difficult to get suppliers to collaborate with, because I know people get busy, especially in season time. And now we're in lockdown in winter where we usually shoot, because we all have time and the ability. And I think shoots won't take place for the next year or two because of budget cuts within the budget. So now for the next 2 years, it's just making money.
It might be completely other way around, because remember, people lost a lot of, they're going to throw a lot of money into their marketing, or the money that they've got left. They're going to spend it wisely, but they will pay for a premium product.
No, definitely.
Just to have that edge above the competition, because 99% of our competition has got their own little one-man show. And what does she do? She does little cell phone videos and everything. But if you come in and you say, dear, well, come, let's do this whole thing. We do a proper production, shoot it correctly. You're going to stand out a whole body length above all the rest of them with their cell phone videos.
Exactly. And also, if you create hype around it, I mean, if you do the behind the scenes and you create so much hype around it, there's no way you can fail doing such a shoot. But it must be something that hasn't been done. And that's my project that I'm working on as well, is something that I'm having made and done that hasn't been made yet, but I know there's a big gap for it because there isn't something out there like that. So if you do something, you must just make sure that you do it right and target the right market and people so that you actually can gain business out of it.
Yeah. Are you developing a physical product or something like that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not locally though, but yeah. Unfortunately.
Well,
because South Africans, I mean, for the last 2 years, I've tried sourcing a local manufacturer. Just because I wanted to stay local and actually give the locals the business, because I'm a small business as well. So, and for 2 years I wasted my time trying to find somebody, and they string me along, and then they say no, the project is too big for them or too complicated for them, and they don't do work with smaller companies. They just do big corporate companies. So I actually took my business outside and I'm having it manufactured abroad.
No, well, that's I've got no problem in doing that. It's at the end of the day, it's the money in the bank that counts. It's not where it's made.
Yeah, and the volumes, I mean, the volumes I wanted in, they actually said it's too much for them to handle, and I'm like, okay, then that's my answer, because the product that I'm developing, I want to sell international. So the volumes won't be as large in the beginning, I know that for sure. But if I believe in myself and I know it's going to do well, I hope, fingers crossed, that I think I've got something here that will initially go viral and go big. That's why I'm working so hard, just to put my plan into action on, if I've got the product, how I'm going to launch it and how I'm going to put it out there so I can get the best out of the marketing side of the marketing, the product and the brand and everything.
Okay, it sounds exciting. Definitely.
Yes, a lot of work.
But I see that's obviously you've got contact with a lot of the industry, the makeup artists, hairdressers in the industry. Are they doing anything at this stage to build something different than like what you are doing?
You know what? I am privileged enough to actually do it because I don't have kids yet. I feel really sorry for my fellow artists in the industry that does have kids at the moment, because 90% of their days going into entertaining, feeding, being a mom, you know, and with I've got the time to actually work on projects during that time where they don't, because half of their husbands or most of their husbands have full-time jobs that probably went back to job, or they have to work and now they have to look after the kids. So there is a lot of girls, for instance, the hairdressers are selling, they are allowed now to sell products, like shampoos and stuff. So I saw a lot of the hairdressers actually, and it's quite nice that they're doing, because they've got the client's details. They're making up like a coloring kit for the, like an at-home coloring kit for the clients, and they're selling that. But I've spoke to a lot of girls as well, and the problem with that as well is now you're selling the product, and that client would only need to restock it in 6 weeks. So you're going to have a wave of income every 6 weeks if it continues like that.
But apart from that, is that maybe the client sees, oh shit, I don't need to spend 2,000 Rand once a month to go do it. I can just buy this kit from her for 450 Rand or whatever. So
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the risk I think a lot of girls are taking at the moment, but also desperate to get some sort of income in until they tell us, you know, we're allowed to trade again. We have heard rumors that they are thinking of pushing us up to level 3. Hopefully that happens soon, because I think there's enough noise made at the moment because of hairdressings and nail technicians that can't work. And, you know, we work one-on-one with clients. It's not that we have 50 people in our salons at the time. So hopefully we can start trading in level 3. But, you know, we don't have, and the other thing is, I don't think a lot of girls are taking risks at the moment because they can't afford to, or taking on new projects because they can't afford to go the expense, because they don't know how long we're going to last in this trap that we're in at the moment.
But I think this will force a lot of them to start looking at, let's say all of this is over, what am I going to build as a sideline to what I'm doing now? Because a lot of these girls still have a day job also, and then they do makeup on weekends.
Yeah.
So the makeup is a second income, but now they've lost both. So what else can they do? So
yeah, that's why I said I think this situation actually made us think outside the box. And if you're not thinking at the moment, you're going to fall behind, unfortunately. If you're not going to work at it and invent and create and be productive in this time that you have at the moment, you're going to fall back, and you're going to fall. I also feel, and yeah, I'm not dissing anybody that can't actually do it like I'm doing it, but I don't think you can complain in 6 months' time that you're still struggling if you haven't expanded all sources or exhausted all your options, possibly that you can. I mean, I've even considered, because I'm having brides at the moment wanting to postpone November weddings and October weddings. So I'm actually consider, if I can't work by December, to maybe go and do babysitting or au pairing for a family for the next 6 to 8 months, you know, just to get some source of income if I need it, if I desperately need it. But I think there's always ways around it. You just have to find your way.
Oh, and you need to pull your finger out of your ass and get off your chair by doing it.
Don't go and lie down. Don't lie down.
That's the thing.
This is not going to win. It's not going to, you must make the best out of a bad situation. And that potentially is what makes you succeed at the end of the day.
Yeah, but even something simple as that, if and I might be completely wrong in saying this, but practice doing work with the mask now, because it is difficult to work with the mask, especially if you're going to be working with a client for 3 or 4 hours. Just put a mask on and walk around your house for 3 or 4 hours while you're doing whatever, just to get yourself used to it, because now it's your first wedding when this whole thing is over, and now you've got to wear a mask for 3 or 4 hours. You're going to be dead at the end of that time, just because you're not
I actually did 5 weddings that week before lockdown. I did 5 weddings before that lockdown, and we've actually started implementing the hygiene side of things then, because we had to. And we had such a laugh on site. I mean, we were standing there. One of my assistants actually came with a spray gun mask with, and she stood there and she actually looked at like that guy from Batman, the villain, with that mask. And we laughed so much when the photographers came in. They canned themselves for us with the masks, because it was so that time it was funny. But I must say to you, it's not fun. Or we do sterilize our kids and we clean our kids often, or I do at least, but not as often as we're going to have to now. And it is quite difficult to work with gloves, because you can't work with gloves doing hair. So I am considering using the shield rather than the mask, because I've also seen, and a lot of my the assistants that assisted me that week, what they struggle with the mask as well is their glasses get vars them up. What is that? Yes. So it gets foggy, and so I'm actually considering getting a shield to work with rather than a mask.
But those shields also is, well, for lack of, it stops here. So everything that you speak just falls out the bottom. So
I'm gonna have the 2 options. I'm gonna try both. I actually ordered some masks now, so I want to see the breathability of it as well, because we work on set at a wedding for at least 8 hours. But I've already put some hygiene regulations in place, where I said to my clients, you know what, because I don't know, especially with some cultures, there ends up being a big bridal party. So I actually deducted it. We can't be more than 10 in a room. That supplies included. So the only people getting done must be in the room. So we have social distancing. And Wella, my one hairdresser friend, actually told me Wella developed a mask that you can put on a client, so it doesn't bother you. Like it sticks on the mask. So you can cut the hair and you can do the hair, so it's nothing over the ear, but you can just stick it on here, just for the time being that your hair is getting done. So I'm actually looking into something like that for my clients as well. But I think there's ways around it. But it is quite difficult. It's a different mindset that we have to switch to. And you're going to have another bag for just your sterilization stuff.
Yeah, but and it's going to increase your cost as well, because
Yes.
You're going to have to charge more, because that mask, you're going to tear it off, and it's probably not going to cost you R1.50. It's going to probably be R150. So that you'll have to keep on adding onto your fee that you charge your client as well. So Or
I
you could,
actually had a conversation with a friend yesterday that we talked about the cost and the addings and people complaining about prices increasing. But what most people don't know out there is a lot of the businesses have to spend a lot of money sterilizing their premises at the moment. For instance, she has a client that's a dentist, and she had to go to an expense where without all the health regulations, if you work it out, it costs her 250 Rand a client to be sterilized in her premise every single day, because they have to go through procedures of sterilization. And for instance, they have to have a gown on, and that one can only use on that client. That pair of gloves, everything is just, and the whole kit for that client itself is 250 Rand. And now people are complaining when she starts charging it, but as a small business, she also can't, foresee for that expense or carry that expense, because she has to now go through that expenses to actually, where they can only service essential services at the moment as well. So they can't do cosmetic stuff where the big money is lying, to actually cover the 250 Rand. So I think people must be aware that increases will happen, not because we want to, but because we have to.
I've also, I listened to a podcast where Joe Rogan spoke to a guy about some, I can't remember what he was, which guy it was, but anyway, it was Elon Musk actually. And Elon Musk said that in America, what's happening now is because the hospitals are all empty due to the no elective surgeries and stuff like that. You can't have your teeth fixed or your boobs in or whatever. So now the 50% of the hospital is empty. So and apparently the government in the States brought in a thing that for every person that you diagnose in your hospital, you get something like $8,000. Every COVID diagnosis that you do. For every person that goes onto a ventilator, the government pays the hospital $34,000 or something like that. And then there's a certain amount if somebody dies of a COVID-related illness in the hospital, they also get money. So now, all of a sudden, the hospitals are doing everything is COVID-related. If somebody comes in with a snot nose, it's COVID. So COVID. If they think this guy is just breathing every ventilator, off you go. And if the guy dies of a heart attack, it's COVID, even though he wasn't tested. So it's, to be honest, I think all these things is a little bit too much for what's actually going on here.
No, definitely. My husband actually has a friend in the UK, and he said it's actually ridiculous where you find some of the hospitals being empty, but because if you stipulate that you've died from COVID, you get a lot of money, or you get stuff from the government. So a lot of people are faking the deaths of what they actually died on, towards, saying, listen, I died of COVID or Corona, then I died from cancer.
It is, and also what I want to know is that when you look at that statistics, I've unfollowed every single person and every page, and I've only kept certain groups and stuff on my Facebook, because the amount of fake news on the internet is so depressing, is that I just unfollowed every single person in my friends list, so I don't see anything.
And negativity.
I only see.
Got to a point where I couldn't take the negativity and the harsh comments, and people just, I know you're frustrated, but don't take it out on social media, because nobody's going to pat you on the back and say it's okay. They're just going to aggravate it.
They're not allowed to.
Exactly. But yeah, no, some people can be very silly about it, but yeah.
But if you look at the graph, we're sitting at 11,350 cases. 4,000
lockdown.
since lockdown, yeah, 4,357 recoveries and 206 deaths. Okay, my question now is, that 11,350 we see there, is that active cases? Or do we have to, or is that total cases that's ever been infected that they've tested? And do we have to deduct the 4,300 and 206 off that? So if you do that, then you're sitting with just over 6,000 active cases, which is stupid.
Which is not even a 0.2% of the whole population of South Africa. And now the government has gone and done the lockdown, and the economic is in its glory for 0.2% of the population.
Yeah, it's
look,
but I think a lot of things will have to change for sure. The way that stuff was done and the way that people did a lot of things will definitely change, which is good. But it's like having a braai with friends. I know my friends were at home this whole time, that they didn't see anybody. So why? And I was at home the whole time. So why can't we just get together and have a braai and get gesyp if we really want to? We're not going to bother anybody.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think I saw some posts as well where the people were so fed up they actually went and sat on the corner of the street and had a street braai, just to have some interaction with people. And I think if you live on a farm at the moment, you're quite spoiled because you've got the freedom to move around quite in a large space. But no, I think that entertainment side of going out and having a drink with somebody, or that we really miss, because that's us as South Africans, is to interact and entertain and have fun and just socialize.
Yeah, but and even your school, just take your school for it. It's not, you don't come to this to and it's 8 hours of just in front of books open learning. It's fun. It's people chatting and what did you do this weekend, and the drama that went on at that wedding and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's change it to something more fun. What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you at a wedding?
Listen, I can actually write a book, but there's two.
Okay.
And I hope the clients are not watching.
You know about who we're talking about.
There was one wedding. The bride doesn't even know about this, but the bride side of things she was from America,
okay,
and the groom side was British. And Americans are quite, they don't have filters. Say it as it is, and they're quite out there. And I don't know if you know, but Americans are really about their teeth whitening. Their teeth needs to be white. And so the mother of the bride comes to me. It's her turn for makeup, and she actually presents this teeth whitening strip to me, and she says to me, she feels it's more appropriate for me to actually give this to the mother-in-law now, the groom's mother, because she thinks her teeth is too yellow for the photos. But just tell her everybody's doing it. And I was dumbstruck, and I was like, oh hell no. You give it to her if you want her teeth to be white. So that was one thing. I had a groomzilla on one wedding where he walked around in his file, doing everything. He was a groomzilla. And then the other one, I actually had the most beautiful bride as a client, who brought me her matric farewell picture to have a hairstyle done exactly the same, 10 years after, which she actually named the hairstyle the pineapple hairstyle, where it's a hairstyle, it's twisted back, where you actually, everything stands up from here. So in the trial, I actually tried to do it so that it's more presentable and it's softer and it's more, you know, so that she sort of sees, I can't do the style. And on the wedding day, I said to my sister, I hope she changed her mind about this hairstyle. And the first thing she said to me is, the pineapple must be higher. So I actually, on the job, went and YouTubed spiky hairstyle, and I put the phone there, and as I did her hair, I did the spiky hairstyle. Or the pineapple. But yeah, no, listen, we have so much fun on weddings, but yeah, I can write a book of what things happened and what went wrong and stuff like that, but those two I can still remember quite clearly.
Well, the thing with you guys at the wedding is that 3 o'clock you're done and off you go home. Then we've got to deal with the rest of it. But what people don't understand is that if they look at these wedding photos, it's all beautiful and stunning and everything, is that my definition for a wedding is crisis management.
Yes.
Because it is, and you will know this as well, that you'll have a bridesmaid that's at the wedding who's been at 2 other weddings before.
Yes.
And she knows everything.
No, definitely. I say my title is not just a makeup artist. I'm a psychologist. I'm a mother. I'm a dress fitter. I'm the sister. I'm the wedding planner sometimes. I'm everything all in one. And I feel like that factor of my job, that's why I also say you have to have a personality for this industry. You can't be somebody quiet and introverted and to yourself, because especially in my industry, you have to communicate with people. You have to make them feel at ease, because the stress is high on a wedding day. I mean, you have to be a problem solver, think on your feet when something goes wrong or something doesn't want to work or a zip gets stuck or whatever the case may be. You have to be the one, especially us or me, doing stuff like that, because the day starts with you. And if you can't manage your time and the situation that you work within, everything is going to run late.
Well, the one thing that I've found, and I don't know about other photographers, the one thing that I've found that's caused the most of my weddings to be late, the ones that was late, was not makeup artist or anything. It was a flippin' lace-up wedding dress.
Yes.
Because they don't know. Then you've got that bridesmaid again there who's been at 2 other weddings with zip-up dresses, and you say to her, "Have you actually done this before?" She says, "No, it's easy, man." And I said, "Okay, right, we're going to be late." And I say
So what I actually do when I plan my schedule is I've got a form that the brides fill out. And one of the questions on the form is, how long does it take you to get into your dress? And then in brackets, I ask, is it a zip? Is it a button up? Is it a lace up? If it's a lace up, I work in 30 minutes in the schedule.
Yes.
So that by the time the lace is done, the photographer time starts. Because, and I actually, I talk to them in the trial when I see them, and when I meet them and I hear it's a lace up, I actually say to the girls, the night before or 2 days or a week before, have a mom or a sister or a friend actually put the dress on and do it just once. Because at the end of the day, we end up lacing it just to speed it up, just for time consuming reasons. And a lot of the time, the girls don't think, some of the girls now, they've done their makeup or they've touched their face and now they work on a white dress and that makeup gives off. And I'm like, now they're asking me for wipes. And I'm like, there's no wipe in the world that's going to remove makeup from a wedding dress, So it's stuff like that you have to manage in that time as well.
But it's experience. It's total experience. As we've learned the hard way. Is that, like you said, if you've got a meeting or a trial beforehand with them, when I go have coffee with them, I ask the girl, "What dress have you got? Who's making your dress?" Elizabeth Stockenstrom said, "Oh, you've got a lace-up dress then." Okay.
No, listen, everybody that knows me and all suppliers, and I think that's one of the reasons people tend to work with me as well. I'm quite strict on my schedule. I'm not a drill sergeant or something on the day, but I run a tight ship on the day. There will be no wedding where a photographer will come on site that I'm not done, or something happened and I'm not done. I always work in time, or I always make sure the bride is dressed by the time she needs to get dressed. And I only leave when I know everything is in order and the photographer can take over, or a wedding planner can take over, or I can hand the area of space or stuff, because sorry to say, but brides and bridal parties needs to be managed on the day, especially ones that haven't gone through the day or the flow of the day. And yes, I'm the one that tells the bridesmaids, you have to go get dressed. You remember to shower. Remember to brush your teeth. Stuff like that. So that, they don't have smelling like wine walking down the aisle, or champagne, whatever they've been drinking. Or I'm sometimes the one, because sometimes the bridesmaids faff so much about themselves, they actually forget to be a bridesmaid to their bride. I end up asking the bride, have you drunk water today? Have you eaten? Do you need anything? Where, sometimes it just blows their mind actually taking care of the one that's getting married.
I've had I did a wedding once, and it's also one of the weird stuff that has happened, is that the bride fell. It was a winter's wedding, so everything was wet. So she fell, and the whole side of her dress was full of mud. There's also a long story that happened that led up to her falling, but when I went in to call the bridesmaids, because I can't take the girl into the bathroom and I wash her dress for her. So I went in to call the bridesmaids, and the first thing they said to me is, "Oh, what the F does she want now again?" So it was like, yeah, well, unfortunately, you have to go help her. Off you go. And I've also...
sometimes when I get a bride that complains about bridesmaids being difficult, Janita Turin wrote a blog regarding bridesmaids, and then I forward that to them and I say, please send it to them or read it, because she puts it in such a good word. If a bride asks you to wear a black bag, you ask black or green.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is the story I wanted to... Oh yeah, one of my weddings I did not too long ago is I got there, we started photographing everything, and at this particular wedding, the brother of the groom was the MC, and the same story. He got married once, so he knew what was supposed to happen on that day, and how things were. He was on my case the whole time. So I literally turned around to him and I said to him, "Dude, listen here. I've done 200 weddings. I know what I'm doing. Don't come looking over my shoulder. I'll get you everything. You just relax." And he was pissed off with me for the rest of the day. He didn't speak to me at all. Even in the evening when I come to him, I said, "Listen, okay, right, what time is the bouquet going to be thrown?" 8:45. And then he would walk off. He didn't speak to me at all again. And to be honest, I didn't give two shits if he didn't, if he didn't. But it was one of those typical things. I put him in his place early on, and he didn't like that. But at that wedding, the mother of the bride came to me, and I was busy photographing like little details and everything. And she says, "Are you the photographer?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "How are you related to the bride?" She said, "Well, I'm the mother of the bride, and I'm going to be your worst nightmare." And I said to her, "Darling, you're not going to be my worst nightmare. It's the bloody bridesmaid." And she said, "Oh my God, I nearly killed them this week." And I said, "Well, exactly." I said, "Exactly." I said, "You're the last of my problems. It's the rest of them that I'm worried about."
Yeah, no, listen. But I must say, mothers can be difficult as well because they're so set in their ways. We've dealt with some mothers that, is very difficult, especially if the brides are quite young. They sort of take over. And I feel like the older they get, the more, I don't want to say they get rude in the sense of getting their way over to you because the stress is so high. And I was brought up, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I just come to the point in my career that I don't take any rudeness on site.
Yeah.
And there was one time that we were on site. I had really good girls on the site, so we were professionals on the site because I know it was high-end demanding clients. And from the get-go, we haven't even put out our kits yet, and they started with the demands and the complaints and, exactly what they want. And the way they talked to us was, I was not on. And I actually, after the first round of clients, I actually went to the bride because she was not in the same room that we were getting ready. She was writing on a speech or something. And I said to her, if you don't get your house in order and get your people in order, I'm packing up my kids and I'm going, because we are not going to be treated like this. We're actually here to provide a service, and we're not here to be treated like we garbage. So get your house in order, or I take my stuff and I leave. And that actually was an eye-opener for me, to just put your foot down and say, you know what, I know what I'm doing. I am a professional. Stick to your guns, stick to your morals, and don't have people treat you like you just another supplier or you just a help, I'm here to do a service, and that's why you booked me. So trust me that I can do the job you booked me for.
I had a wedding once. It was also at Strand Kombuis in Eisenfontein, and we got to, everything was fine, everything's 100%. We got to after the ceremony, we did a couple photos, everything. So now we're going to go to the reception area, and I look on the guest list, and I don't see my name or the video guys, and they were youngsters. I think it was like the second wedding that they did. They were brilliant. And anyway, I didn't see our names on the guest list. And I know often they don't put our names on the table seating, so they also, right, you guys can sit in that corner. So I go to the girl who's the wedding planner, and I say to her, where are we sitting? She said, well, you're not catered for. So I said, I like, really? I said, so where must I put my stuff down? She said, no, to figure it out. So I went to the video guys and I said to them, listen here, I'm not, at this stage, I'm not happy as I'm standing here now. Because it was one of those weddings where they asked for discount and stuff the whole time, and I knew they had money to afford it. So it was one of those weddings I didn't want. Well, it's not that I didn't want it, it's that I just didn't feel comfortable with from the beginning. So now I'm busy talking to the video guys, and she came walking out, the wedding planner, and she said to me something wrong, and I just at that moment I say a thing as it is at that point, and everybody knows exactly where they are with me. And I said to her, I'm not happy. I said, I need a plate of food, or we need food, and we need a place to sit, because I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm here to do a job. I said, I could have been at home and played with my girls today. I said, yeah, instead I'm here. I said, we can sort this out very easily. I'll pack up my shit. And I said it like this: I'll pack up my shit, I'll get in my car, I'll go to the restaurant in town, I'll go spend an hour there, and on a Monday you'll just get the bill. I said, what you gonna do? Make a plan. And her eyes was big as this.
Yes.
And
now that's the thing. I've actually worked it in my contract as well. That was a big concern in the beginning of my career, where you on site 8 hours at least. I mean, you working head after head, not even getting a second to actually have a glass of water or coffee or nothing. You're just human. You're not a machine. You're not a computer. And sometimes for me, it's just so rude where everybody, they get plates or platters out and they sit around a table and they don't offer you to come and sit with them, or, you know what, there's food, please help yourself. It's just good manners. So I've actually, what I've done is I've worked it into my contract that if I'm on site more than 2 hours, a light lunch must be provided, even if it's a sandwich or something. And I've actually worked in my schedule a 15-minute break for lunch or coffee, and I actually stipulate there so that they can actually see they must order lunch and they must take a break, and we need to take a break, because after doing 6 or 7 ladies' makeup or hair, you actually need just to rest your feet for just 5 minutes. So yeah, no, definitely I've sorted that one out. I've worked around it, not to directly ask for it, but to indirectly suggest it. And actually what's nice about us seeing the clients before the wedding in the trial is I actually discuss the run of order of the morning. So I actually tell her, remember to have food there. If it's food, have finger food. Don't have a salad where you have to sit down and mess, or a lot of starch that you will bloat up, or greasy food or chicken wings with sauce and stuff. Something like a wrap or sandwich or a quiche or something that's quickly eatable but will fill you up until you need to eat again.
Yeah, no, it's stuff like that we've learned the hard ways. Well, I've got all this stuff in my contract as well, but it's the people don't read it in the first place, and then it's like in that particular case, that particular wedding, it was just plain stinginess.
Yes.
I'm shy to say it.
Yeah, no, listen, so yeah, we have to just, sometimes you have to find ways to work around it. And yeah, I'm a person, and everybody will tell you this. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, so you will see if I'm not happy. And people will know I'm not happy, because I'm also very straightforward, very direct, and I just think I've gone to such lengths that I actually make them feel like shits. Like I would walk up to them and say, can we please get my girls some water, because they haven't drank anything or nothing was offered to them yet. So that they feel shit, man, because you know what, we're just human. I'm not saying to cater a 5-star meal for me, but I have to carry a light, a chair, two suitcases, a hair and a makeup bag. It's already 5 items without my handbag. I can't carry a lunchbox as well, I don't have and I just also, me especially, I feel it's rude eating while you're working. For instance, putting biltong in your mouth, or nuts, or chewing on something. I mean, I work with somebody's face, so I would like to just have 5 minutes, eat something and continue.
And now you're going to wear a mask, so now you've got an excuse to go sit down. I need to take my mask off for a bit.
Exactly.
they need to give you the space to go do it because everybody's scared of germs now. So it's, okay, right, just around the corner, then you sort it.
Yes. Vacuum sealed sandwich.
Crazy. Yeah, but I'm doing a lot less weddings these days than what I used to do. I just I'm doing a lot of other stuff, but I just want to get more time on weekends, especially with kids, because they're going to get to a stage now where it's going to be sports and all those kind of things. And I don't want to be the one saying to my girls, look, I can't be at your first netball game, or I can't be there for that. So,
but
yeah,
that's also why I've thought of another revenue stream, that the revenue stream can work for me where I don't actually need to do the work myself, is if we want to start a family, to actually have the flexibility of choosing not to work on a weekend. Just because I've learned so much with my fellow artist friends that has kids, that, you know, I'm a mom, you know, and the mom is a big part of it in a child's life. And you don't want to steal from that time that you can miss because you can't get it back. So, and I just said, you know, I don't want to have kids if I can't be flexible enough or spend enough time with them. So that's also my one motivation in starting this new business, to actually get a revenue stream that I actually don't have to physically do the work myself.
And it is hard work. Weddings is extremely hard work. And I made the decision 5 years ago to start looking at other ways of other types of photography for me to do, so that I'm busy during the week and not necessarily on a weekend. And I must say now at this stage is that weddings is I still do them. If somebody wants to book me, I'll take the wedding and I do it as best as I can. But I'm doing a lot of other work now that weddings is not my main income anymore. Which is
how's the landscaping going? Because you do a lot of landscape photography.
Yeah, that I do that for the love. Come on. Sorry, I do that for the love of it, not for the money. So if I do sell prints from that or anything in that line, then it's good. Then it's a bonus.
Okay.
But
so are you busy more with corporate, or
yeah,
what are you doing?
More corporate type clients, but a lot of clients on this side of the mountain, in more the agricultural type scene, versus the other corporate stuff that people think is corporate, is like events and all that. I don't do a lot of that. The stuff I do now is mostly for marketing related stuff for clients on my side of the mountain. I'm here, I speak the language, I know what they're doing, so it fits in. And then there's other stuff as well that I don't post on social media at all. I work a little bit in the hunting industry and wildlife industry as well. So I would go with clients from America coming over to come and hunt here, go with them for a week and film the whole trip for them.
And your wife, she has a leather company, right? Or leather?
Yeah, we do handmade handbags and shoes and all those kind of things as well. It's like we try to keep the pot boiling from all sides. So if one flame goes out, at least there's something else bringing in a couple of bucks to
You have to. If you're not in a position where you've have a wealthy family, or you have financial backing, or you in a large or in a high position where for sure you're getting a really good salary or income, and your job is not, then you have to work at it and hustle where you can.
But I think to come back to the COVID thing is that a lot of people, even in those positions, they got hit on their nose and they're sitting on their asses at the moment because they weren't expecting it. They were used to their big paychecks and big credit card bills at the end of the month, and they could pay it. But now all of a sudden, income has dried up. What do they do now? So I think this thing is going to bring down a lot of people that are flying way too high, going to bring them right down low again, and sort all that kind of stuff out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, ladies, anything else you want to chat about? We've gone on to an hour and a half.
Oh, sorry. We talk a lot. You know, Moose. You know, Moose, if you talk to me, you're going to talk an hour and a half. My phone calls is no less than 15 minutes. I talk a lot. Sorry.
That's fine. And it's especially, well, we haven't spoken in quite some time. So it's nice to just catch up and just see what everybody's doing. And
yeah,
it's like especially now that we can't do stuff together.
Or we don't have anything else to do. Yeah. So we have to do it. But yeah, I'm so grateful for you for asking me to come on this and talk to you, because yeah, it's a little break from my computer screen, because I feel like it's driving me insane being in front of the computer all day, full day. So it's just nice to take a little bit of a break from something else.
Now you know what a photographer feels like.
No, I know. I feel for you. I know you guys work long hours, and you know, I don't know how you guys do it.
It's amazing when all the youngsters, when they say to you, no, they want to be a photographer. You say to them, okay, right, why a photographer? No, it's fun. I said, okay, well, yeah, I know it's fun. And then they say, we don't want an office job. And I said, well, I've got terrible news for you. You're going to sit in front of a computer for 12 hours a day.
Yeah. 90% of your job is in front of a computer. And that's what I also tell my girls when they walk in here. You know, makeup artistry is fun, but no, that's just 10% of your business. You know, 90% of the other side of the business is the business side of things. So I must tell you as well, last thing is I've gained new respect for videographers. The amount of work that goes into a video is insane. And I've always been the one promoting videographers to my clients. That's the first thing I ask. Do you have a video? If not, get one, you know? But I've got new respect for the work that goes into it, because now we've been doing videos for, you know, for the online and the courses and the stuff, and it is not easy.
Who's been doing it for you?
No, we're putting it together, but as soon as we can shoot again, I just actually want to do it properly.
Okay. Yeah, I've
it like professionally together, then rather, me, oh shoot, okay, sorry, okay, wag, you know, and then have to go and take 50 clips and make it one, you know. So no.
Well, there's
new respect.
There's some cool apps on the phone, and you might look at it if you want to do like a quick little video about something. I don't know if you can see it there.
You can send it to me quick.
Yeah, it's called Quick. It's a GoPro app. And
okay.
You literally go in and you select the ones in the order that you want, and you click make it, and it makes it. So then you can go back and see, right, that clip I want to play longer, that one I want to make shorter. It's fun. Especially if you want to do something quick.
But it takes time.
If you want to make something quick for like social media, want to post on Instagram or Facebook, then you can do that with that. It's actually super.
But I struggle with the English, man, especially after I have to talk to myself. But anyways.
That sounds stupid now. Have I said it right? Or then you listen to it and say, oh my flip, I forgot to say that, or whatever it is. And if you've got a script, then it sounds like you're a robot.
Yes, and I hate listening to myself or hearing myself. You know, I sound to myself, I sound retarded, you know. Sorry, but it sounds like, you know, I don't sound like myself. I start speaking like this, you know, and then I'm like, just chill out, Cecilia. It's just a video.
Oh, my word. Okay, right. Let's get going. I've got to start sorting out the kids and everything soon again. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming to join me and having a chat.
Thank you.
It was interesting.
Thank you so much for having me, and good luck with everything and good luck with your ventures. And I hope we don't take another year or so to talk to each other again.
No, we must make a plan.
Yes. One of my friends actually might move to Worcester, so I might come and visit you guys.
Please do. Please.
Yeah. They live close to that estate, close to the golf estate. Golf.
Yeah, that's around the corner from me.
Yes, yes. But anyways, my love to your wife and your kids and stuff, and enjoy. And I hope you see you soon.
Okay, same that side.
Okay, bye.
Okay.